In this video, we will discuss solid history and editing methods. If you'd like to follow along with this video, please open the file solid history and editing methods.dwg located in the working files folder as discussed in the working with this dataset video. Let's talk about the methods available for editing solid models and learn about the history that a solid can contain, how to display the history of consumed solids in a composite solid, and how you can use this history when editing a composite solid model. Since a design is rarely final after the first iteration, it is important to understand the options and methods available to you for modifying solid models so you can efficiently achieve the required design results. So what's the definition of solid history? Well, after you create a composite solid, your ability to access and edit the consumed solid is dependent on the composite solid's recorded history. Each solid model you create can contain a history. You can record the history for each individual solid model or override the individual models and record history for the entire drawing. The history of the individual solid model is controlled in the Properties palette. When you select an object, go to the Properties palette, you'll notice the Solid History property. You can have it set to Record, or you can have it set to None. You can have the Show History, as you see here with this blue solid model, set to Yes. And what you're seeing is the actual outline of the history of the recorded composite model. The system variable that controls the solid history for the entire drawing is the solid hist system variable, located in the Solid tab primitive panel, and there's where you can set it on or off globally. As you can see in our drawing, you can select it individually. Notice how this solid model is set to display the outline of the solid history. This one here is not set to display the solid history, however, it is turned on, and if I were to select a specific subcomponent, I could do so by pressing the Control key on the keyboard. You will now actually be able to see the solid models that were used to create the different parts of the composite solid. Notice that if I select this solid model, you'll see the solid history is set to None, so it has not been recording any of the methods used to create the solid model, and that's why you're not seeing any outlines of other composite solids. However, you can turn on a solid's history. When you do so, the history for that solid model is only recorded from that point forward. So if I set this to record, and I'll go ahead and do a subtraction, and I press the Control key on the keyboard, you will now see that you can actually select the composite model that was used to define that subtraction. Some of the other settings for the Show Hist system variable, the default is set to 1, which records the history for all solids. A setting of 0 sets the history to None for all solids, and a setting of 2 displays the history of all solids and overrides the individual show history settings. Again, it's recommended to actually set them per solid model. That way you can pick and choose how you want a solid's history to either be recorded or have it turned on for easier editing.